Coronation Street spoilers, Boss Kate Oates reveals why the show is tackling male rape with David Platt. Coronation Street are about to air a difficult and traumatic storyline for David Platt as he is drugged and raped by newcomer Josh Tucker in one of the show's most harrowing plotlines to date. Fans will not see the sexual assault take place, but the focus will be on the aftermath for David, and the impact that it will have on his mental health. Corrie has a long history of dealing with tough social issues including domestic abuse, child sex trafficking and addiction, and the team is working closely with charities and survivors to ensure that they tell this story sensitively and properly. Explaining why she chose to run the story, Boss Kate Oates said, "We decided to cover the topic of male rape to help try and highlight the culture of silence that surrounds male sexual assault, and issues surrounding male mental health in general. Survivors Manchester have been so generous with their time and knowledge, working with Jack, Ryan and the team, and I'm in awe of the work they do. Over the next few weeks of Corrie, our message is to talk. It's hard to speak out, but if you're suffering in silence, there are people out there willing to listen and support you." Jack P. Shepherd, who plays David, added, "David thinks he has made a new friend in Joshua. He hasn't really ever had a male friend and no male role models, because his dad is not around and Nick has moved away. He's been trying to impress Josh with his training for the fight and he is enjoying his company. He has no reason to think Josh is anything other than a mate." When I was told about the storyline, Kate Oates and I met with Duncan from Survivors Manchester, and that was when I realized the gravity and significance of the storyline. David's reaction and decision to remain quiet because he feels ashamed about what has happened is not uncommon. Hopefully people will start talking about the storyline and it could help someone who has gone through something similar to realize the need to open up and speak to somebody. Survivors Manchester was founded to help male victims and survivors of sexual abuse get help and support and speak out. Duncan Craig, the founder and chief executive of the organization as well as being a survivor himself, has been working with Jack, Ryan and the team at Corrie on the story. He said, "From the first meeting, Kate Oates and the team at Coronation Street have been 100% committed to not only ensuring the story is told sensitively and authentically, but that it does something to help male survivors at home. From the many discussions with the script writers, editors, publicity, legal, director and both Jack and Ryan, it's felt such an incredibly positive team effort. As a service provider, I wanted to make sure that I did everything I could to support Coronation Street to tell this story in an authentic way to the man watching at home. As a survivor, I have felt the Coronation Street team have done everything they can to really listen to me and to our ambassador Sam Thompson, whose own story of being raped has been drawn from for this story. Sitting down with Jack and talking through some of my own experiences as a survivor was a brilliant experience. Jack asked me so many questions and we talked about the idea of what it is to be male, why so many men stay silent after being sexually assaulted, and what it's like living in silence. He was incredibly respectful and his hunger to understand will ensure that the man sat at home watching David will feel less isolated, and that's the start of breaking the silence. When Sam and I met with Ryan, he was 100% committed to telling the most authentic story he could. Taking on a character who will commit one of the most abhorrent crimes within society is a challenge, and I have so much respect for what Ryan is doing and wanting to roll his sleeves up and get involved in supporting us to break the silence on male sexual violence. Coronation Street's commitment to making sure every script and idea is discussed with us shows just how important this story is to them and shows how much they are listening to survivors, like Sam and I. I cannot thank them enough. The day the story broke that Coronation Street were tackling male rape as a subject, there was a flurry of activity on social media and Survivors Manchester was being talked about. Within 24 hours, we'd had a number of inquiries directly linked to the story. A number of men, and a few girlfriends of men, were contacting us asking about how they access our service. That just fills me with so much hope for this whole story.